In this video, I'll be going over how to take a Bluemix project, a template of mine, and make it your own. Okay, the first step, or the first thing you have to do is fork my repository. So the URL is hub.jazz.net/project/chyld, and that will take you /template. That'll take you to this page right here, which you can then fork and then clone it into your own project. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to this web page, and then you're going to click Fork Project. You click that, and it says, what do you want to do? Well, you can either make it private or not. I'm going to make it public, but you can make it private if you wanted to. Add features for Scrum development, that's track and plan. So that's cool, you can leave that on there. And then make a Bluemix project. If you do that, then that allows this project to, so you can deploy it, deploy the code to production. Okay. It says, what's the name of your project? Let's call this Omega, O-M-E-G-A. Okay, so that's the name of my project. And I'm not gonna, like I said, you can leave it private if you want, but I'm gonna add these other features. And then you click Create, and this is gonna copy. This is basically gonna copy the code from my repo into your repo. So that's going, it's copying, and then you'll have a copy, and your copy will be called Omega. Once you copy it over, you need to clone it or copy it onto your hard drive. So you're going to click Get URL, and this URL will show up here. You'll copy it, that text. You'll go to your machine, whether it's on your Windows or a virtual machine, and we have to clone this repo. So type in git clone, and then the name of the repo. This is your repo. So right here where it says my name, this would actually be your name. Okay, once you do that, then there'll be a directory called Omega, and you're going to cd into it. Okay. Once you've forked and cloned the repo, you're now inside the Omega directory. Let's do a couple things. First of all, let's open up Atom dot, and that'll open up Atom. We'll have to edit a couple files in here. One is called package.json. So click package.json. Right here it says the name of your project. Change this to CA101 Omega Chyld, or your name. So this is, in this case, it's your name. And then in the manifest.yaml file, also do the same thing here. Okay. All right. Once those are complete, then go back to your terminal, and I need some node modules in here. Remember, the node modules are listed in the package.json file. These are node modules, and we need those in order to run the project. So do npm install, and that will install all the node modules that we need. This is going to take a few seconds. It has to go out to the internet, go to npmjs.org, and download all those node modules. Now once we do that, you see there is now a node modules directory, and that didn't exist before. Now we also need to install some global node modules so that we can run some programs globally. That means from any directory. We're going to do npm install -g. This means global, and we're going to install two things: nodemon and mocha. Nodemon allows you to run Node apps without having to restart them, and then if you make changes. And then Mocha is for testing. Okay, The first thing is let's try and run some tests. Now I have some tests in here already. If you go into the test folder in test.js, there's one test in here and it's already written. To run this test, type in npm test, and it should be green. The test should pass. So that's what that does is it just goes to the home page and makes an HTTP request against it. That's basically all it does. So hopefully that passes. Now once that passes, let's try and run this thing. So I'm going to open up tmux like that, and then I'm going to run node-mon app.js. So the app has started up. It's listening on port 6003. So now I can yeah, now I can split this window. In case you forgot what it is, it's Control A, and then either the dash, the horizontal dash, or the vertical dash. Okay, so NodeMon, so the app is listening right here. It's running. The Express app is running, and then down here, well, I guess I could do a couple things. One, I could say HTTP localhost colon 603, and you can see when I made that HTTP call that it was listening here. I could also go to 6003 on my web browser. So I can open up my web browser and I can go localhost 6003, and you can see it says OK. That's the template doesn't really have a lot of functionality in it. It just basically says OK. And then, of course, you would add on your additional features. The template is supposed to be just that. It's supposed to be a template, something just to just get you going. If you go to app.js here and you look down at the bottom, you can see the only HTTP endpoint I have in here is a get to slash, so this is the home page, and all it does is send back the OK message. Okay, it looks like the app is now working. Let's push this up to your website, or push this code back up to Bluemix. So you can type in get status, and it'll tell you all the names of the files that have changed. Let's go ahead and say get add dot get commit. I don't know. We can say updated config files, and then let's push those changes up. And that should take like a second to push those changes up. Once that finishes, okay, that's done. I can come back here and refresh this page, for example, and I can, I don't know, look at this manifest YAML file, and I can see that yes, it has updated. Okay. Next thing you may want to do is go to track and plan. Track and plan, you may remember, is where you come in here and create items. You would first of all you would create some uh, uh, yes, you could either go to backlog or you could go to sprint planning, either one. And this is where you create work items like work item A, B. These are supposed to be items, right? C, D, E, F. Create a bunch of items, and then you can add some sprints. Add a sprint. Then you could add even more sprints, right? Look at all the sprints I just added. So you can add a whole bunch of sprints, and then you can click on here, and you can add items to sprints just by dragging them over and assigning them. Okay. So this is the track and plan section where you create backlog items, you create sprints, and then you associate those backlog items with individual sprints. Okay, once that's finished and you're all ready to go, then you'd go to build and deploy. And what we're going to do here is we're going to create a build pipeline so that when you push your code from the command line, it will automatically build, test, and then deploy your code. Okay. So to do this, we're going to create 3 stages: build, test, and then deploy. So add a stage. This is going to be the build stage. So don't really have to change anything here. The job is a build, and everything else is good. Save. So that's going to build our code. The next thing we're going to do is we want to test it. So let's call this the test, and then jobs, then here test, and then this is the command we're going to run. When the code gets pushed up, we have to do an npm install and then an npm test. Npm install, of course, installs the node modules. The npm test runs the test. If all this works out correctly, then that stage in the pipeline is correct, and the code will move on to the next step. So we have build, we have test, and obviously the last thing and the most important thing is deploy, right? We want to deploy our code to production. Deploy. Okay. When we deploy, we're going to add a deploy step. Down here at the bottom where it says what's the name of your application, this is CA 101 Omega Chyld. So that was what we typed in before. That's the same thing that was in the manifest.yaml and package.json. So, okay. Once you do that and you save that, then let's test this out. To test it out, you could either A, push your code from the command line up, or I could just click on this thing and just watch it kind of go across. So this is going to build the code, hopefully here. So you can see it's building. Okay, it passed. Now it's running the test, so I can click view log and history and just watch the test run if I want. So it's pulling in the code, installing some node modules, and then it'll be running npm tests. So here it is installing the node modules, and then it running npm tests and look at success, finished. So that phase passed, and the last stage is the deploy stage, and it's currently running. Let's click this and watch it run. So it's running. It's setting up the node environment. It's installing dependencies. Dependencies are the node modules, so it's installing node modules. These are all the node modules right here. It's finalizing the build. It's getting ready to create the droplet, that DEA, that droplet execution agent. So it's doing that. It's uploading it to the Bluemix servers. Okay, and then it's starting up the app right now. And then it says, okay, so finish success. So that looks pretty good. And now here's a hyperlink. I can click on it, and it says okay, which is exactly the same thing that said in development on in here, right? So now the app is ready for you. All you have to do is go back to Atom and your app.js file. Just come down here and continue to add more endpoints. Remember, you can put your views, all your HTML files, inside the views directory. And then the public folder, this is where your CSS would go. Any images would go here. And then this JS folder would be any browser-side JavaScript files like jQuery, for example. And then that's it. And remember, anytime you push up your code from here, it will automatically run this build pipeline. That's it.